Greetings, YouTube! Today I'll be talking about how I actually transport my gaming stuff. Now, this is a briefcase. Well, technically it's a briefcase toolkit. It was designed to be used as a toolbox. It's made out of aluminum. It's got aluminum sides here and reinforced corners. It actually has straps on the side if you'd like to carry this as a messenger style bag or a shoulder bag. I actually have no idea where the strap is. I always just carry it in my hand. It has big, clunky, very secure buckles. And here we have what is the stuff I carry when I game. So what do we have first off? First thing you're going to notice, I carry a calculator because I'm horrible at math, solar powered, because I don't like to have to worry about batteries. We have this back panel here, which I'll flip out here, which is for carrying pens. This is for carrying small tools. I just carry a couple of pens in here when I'm not using them. It's quite handy. I've talked about this particular box before. This is a dice box, and I have a pencil in there, which I have sometimes carry in there. Depends where I've used it last. Here we have just a notebook for just keeps writing things down when I need them. I guess I don't know if I've ever shown anyone how I do this, but this is how I count. Right here, I count in squares. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the reason I do that is a distinct quanta. That is 5. If you use vertical lines and then an angle, it's very difficult sometimes to tell where one vertical line ends and the next begins. Is that line 6 or is that part of the 5? By doing it this way, there is no confusion. So that's what I normally keep on this side. Occasionally, if I have a small reference book, that will go on top of that. I think I get this set up for a 3.5 game. So we've got 3.5. Actually, no, I had this set up for a. Last time I did this, there's something for my wife. Yeah, because it was a superheroes game that I ran for her. I just used this as a shield so she couldn't see what I was looking at. But yeah, we got a player's handbook, a DM's guide in here. This is an old adventure I got kicking around. Yes, I actually would print out my adventures like this with all the notes I would need in them. I could put a cover on the top, and then I would put a temporary binding on there, so it kind of looked like a module. I kind of like the way that was done. I kind of gives it a little more professional vibe, in my opinion. Go back in there, and then behind that little screen, that little tool panel that I showed you a moment ago, I have a notebook. Now, depending on what I would be doing with this notebook would change, so I would have different configurations depending on what I would need it for. And this particular right here, this is for a character I was playing at one point, Dederick Blackhand Miller. So his name is Dederick Miller, and he was known as Blackhand because he was a sorcerer, and his designation I always play sorcerers in my games, whether I'm playing or a GM, that they have some physical representation of their tie to the mystical. And in this case, he at about here on his body, his hands, he was Caucasian, his skin grew darker and darker until he had black hands. So that's where he got the nickname Blackhand. He was a human, male, sorcerer. He was 4th level, neutral good. And it was just, I think it was like a one-shot or something I ran. But even I'm very anal about things, so I broke this down into his stats and pertinent information, class skills, cross-class skills, and how all the ones that were important to me, the ones that actually would matter in the game. Anything else that wasn't in here was something I had either no penalty or no bonus to, so I would not have it listed. Feats, I had a familiar, familiar's abilities, spells known, spells per day, the options I had for my spells in question, equipment, description of the character's brief past, personal history, goals, family members, and a 20-level build plan because I can't help myself. That was some information which has some. I actually printed out an email to make it easier for someone to reference. But I don't want you to necessarily know all the pertinent information of my email account. And then we have here the name for another character. This is a character my wife played in that same one shot, and she was playing Krell Petagala, which was a human cleric of Kord. I don't know why she got that name, but she got that name. And then again, the same kind of a layout. Here we go with another character sheet I got kicking around. There's Dagon Drake, which was a human ranger. This was a Unearthed Arcana variant, first level character, going to become a. His goal is to become a shapeshifter. So it was eventually going to be a UA variant ranger, master of many forms, and then nature's warrior. That was eventually my build. And then we here have another version of Dedrick for some reason. I don't know why I had two of them, but I had two of them. But this is how I carry things, and of course I can change the figuration for to fit whatever thing I need to. But I find this case useful because even though it is a little on the heavy side, it is that protects the books. It keeps them in excellent condition from bumps and things like that. I can put this into any vehicle and not be concerned about damage. I could sit on this thing and I'm not concerned about damaging the books I have inside. And I like to have my dice somewhat organized, and this lets me carry them so it's not just a disorganized bag. Somebody had noticed occasionally I can be somewhat anal retentive. So this has been how I carry stuff when I game.